And we are live. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be right back with you, Howlers.
Where am I going to be looking?
How's over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
And this is a power couple segment. So this we did a power couple segment a little while back, but this is like our first that we actually
Official one.
Yeah, official that we set in place, and I'm really proud to have Pastor Dennis and Julie on the show. I feel like they're epitome of what a power couple is. Their whole life is based on the Lord. And I want to go over, because you guys see what we have on here a lot of the times, even with the dating and relationships, a lot of times with these people, the way these people think sometimes. And I kind of want to get these guys' perspective on what a real marriage and a couple would be. So I want to introduce them and let them introduce themselves a little bit. But this is Pastor Dennis and Julie. And if you guys can introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about who you are and what you guys do and what you guys represent.
Yeah. My name is Dennis Evangelista. This is my beautiful wife, Julie. We've been married for coming on 31 years. June 19th, 31 years. Exciting. I pastor at New Life Redlands Church in Redlands for the last 18 years. Julie is a teacher at Redlands Christian School, 5th grade. She's been doing that about 17 years.
17 years, yep.
And we love marriage. Marriage is awesome. And we were talking about this and praying on our way here. The fact that if it wasn't for God being the center of our marriage, we would not have the marriage that we have. God is the center, and we'll talk about that throughout this, because without God, marriage is difficult. With Him, it may be difficult, but boy, we have someone that comes alongside us and supports us and helps us and gives us wisdom. So it's been a wonderful trip.
Yes, we have 2 children. Tiffany, who's married to her husband Daniel. Closer, sorry. Daniel, and our son Garrett, and they're both young adults and just great, amazing children, and we're so blessed to be their parents.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times that we talk about, because you guys own a business, it's the church, and you guys that's a power couple. So I always want to just explain that, when we come on. But really what it comes down to is at the beginning, we always talk about the foundation. And you guys just said it, but I still want to maybe dive into it a little bit more. The foundation of anything, when you have a business or who you are as a person or as a father or a husband or wife or in a marriage. Your foundation. You guys said your guys' foundation is based on who?
Jesus Christ.
And how long and how strong has that foundation been for you guys? And what has that done for your marriage?
Well, I gave my heart to Jesus in 3rd grade and rededicated my life when I was...
Turn her up?
A little bit louder?
No, you're loud.
We need to turn her up. We do need to turn her up a little bit. It's cool. We're live, but we do this all the
Okay,
time.
all right.
You just keep going with the flow.
All right.
Sorry.
So I rededicated my life when I was 21 and been serving Him ever since. Of course, ups and downs. Of course, life brings you all kinds of things. But I brought my cup. This is my life first. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. And Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And throughout my life, if I've had difficult times, I know that if I trust in Him, He's going to direct me. Even though I'm going to go up and down, the Lord's going to direct me. And so that's just been a blessing. That's been a powerful verse in my life.
Yes. So when we say that our foundation is in Jesus Christ, both Julie and I had relationships previously to knowing one another. And there were relationships that were not the best. In other words, we had sexual relationships with others, but when we met one another, we decided that we would not have sex before marriage. We wanted to honor God in our relationship from the very get-go. And so we made that commitment to one another. We dated, well, we knew each other for 8 months. I met Julie up at Camp Cedar Crest. It's the camp that our youth go to. She was helping with youth at her church in Hesperia. I was the youth pastor in Escondido, and we met up at camp. Met one summer camp, then a winter camp, and then another summer camp. And we became friends over that time, so much so that when I talked about dating, she said, dating you, kissing you, would be like kissing my brother. And I thought, oh no,
friend zone.
I'm in the
Friend zone
it's
real
worse.
quick.
It was worse than the friend zone. It was the brother zone. So we had a conversation about that, and it worked out. It worked out to where we began to date, and within 2.5 months, I proposed, and then we were engaged for a year. Which, by the way, we would tell you, do not, if you don't want to have sex before marriage, don't be engaged for a year. It was frustrating, sexually frustrating, you know. So yeah, it was tough, but we held to that. And during that year process, we talked to one another and shared what we felt our marriage should be like. And we made some commitments. We had seen other relationships, godly people, but when they got married, they were joking about one another, putting one another down. And I thought, that's not what I want for my marriage. And,
Right.
and we talked about that. And we said that we would not talk bad about one another to others or even to ourselves. That we would be encouraging, uplifting. And in 31 years, well, 32 because we're engaged for a year, and all that time, I've not had anyone come to me and say, aha, Julie said this about you, and it was like a put down.
Yeah.
Not at all. And vice versa. That's been very important for us.
Yeah.
That we prefer one another. We speak well of one another. I encourage her. She encourages me. And that at the foundation shows respect, honor, and just a godly attitude towards one another.
Hold on.
Sorry, we're just having a little technical difficulties. Mic test.
Mic test.
Can you go in there a little
Yeah,
bit?
there I am. Mic test.
Can you
mic
get a little
test.
closer on it?
Or you can already pull it out to you.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Little technical difficulties.
Yeah,
This is where we go when we're live.
Okay.
Huh?
It's looking good right here.
Yeah.
Testing.
Can you go? Can you test?
Test.
He needs to be turned up a little. It's either
Test.
echoey or it's too much. Yeah, but I want to get it right before we just keep going. So we're still live. I appreciate everybody for watching. We hit 360,000 views
Lower.
today. Lower, yeah.
Yeah.
360,000 views today. It's like 360,100 something. So we appreciate everybody for watching. Now we're gonna get back into it.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But yeah, going into what you said, so nowadays in my generation and Jacob's generation, we have social media. So a lot of people, they'll get into arguments or things like that, even the friends that I know, and they'll post their relationship and their business online. And you know what I mean? And
What do you guys think about that?
like that's the difference between your generation and ours. And like you said, you guys told each other we wouldn't talk bad about each other, and I think that's why that it's a difference between our generations, because it's how it's all about respect. You can love somebody all day, but as soon as you disrespect them, it kind of like makes the whole thing just tarnish. Like as soon as if the respect isn't there, you can love them, but if you don't respect them, I don't think the love isn't real.
So that's not respect. When you say, what do I think about that? It's not respect. Why would I post anything about my wife other than what is good and honorable? Right? If I want my marriage to honor my wife and to honor God, right, I'm supposed to love my wife like Christ loved the church. And if I'm speaking bad of her, God doesn't speak bad of the church. Right? Jesus isn't saying, those bunch of losers, right? They blew it last week. I can't believe that. He's encouraging and uplifting. And so in Ephesians 5, when Paul talks to the church at Ephesus and said, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. Right? I give myself to my wife. I love her. I support her. I encourage her, and she returns that, right? When we prefer one another, right? So talking bad about someone, talking bad about your wife, is not preferring her. So why would I even do that? What would I think about that? I think that that person has got some issues that they need to deal with, and not go to social media. Social media is not the answer, by the way. I don't even deal with social media in the sense of getting into conversations with groups, because what I have to say to one person, I don't need to say to a bunch, right? So why would I just put it out there for everyone to get in my business? Right? If I'm going to talk to you, if I have something I need to deal with you, I'm going to talk to you. I'm not going to put it on social media so you and 50,000 other people can see it.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get into some things that we've talked about on this show before too, is how do you guys deal? Have you guys had an instant where you? I mean, everybody has, right? Where you felt jealous about something, about another person, maybe they because they liked you or they were looking at you a certain way or whatever the case. But if you did, and how did you deal with that as a strong couple at that point? Because I mean, I know that we could even talk about beforehand, before you felt like you were really strong in who you are and what you're doing. But how did you deal with that on both ends?
Well, for one thing, I got married. I was 35. Julie was 26. She is not a jealous person. And so I used to be jealous in other relationships. And I'd want to get jealous when she'd talk about past boyfriends, and I'd bring up a girl, and it was no big deal because I'll let her share. Why?
Well, I knew how much he loved me, and we had, as we talked about in our relationship, we dated, and we were such great friends. And because we weren't physical, we made it very clear that we wanted to really work on the communication of our relationship and not do the physical, because the physical's easy. Easy. It's the communication that's difficult. And so I knew how much he loved me, and vice versa. And so those other, I'm one. I'm married. I got the guy. They don't have him. So I wasn't concerned about them because I knew that our relationship was strong. Right. And so I didn't have to worry about that.
What made you feel so secure in that? The way he was, or because of your faith, or what was it? Because a lot of people, especially that we bring on, this is why I'm explaining that. Yeah, they are not secure, right? And even when that person is faithful, or he's not doing anything to make them think that way, they still are really jealous.
Well, I think also I was brought up in a home. My parents were divorced. My mom got remarried, and my stepdad and my mom, they were not jealous people. They modeled that for me, and so that was something that I was strong in. And then I think because of our relationship being so strong, and in our faith, putting God first, and because of our communication always being encouraging to one another and loving to one another and be respectful of one another, I didn't feel like I needed to be jealous, because it was always a relationship that was always founded on a basis of Christ and good communication. So I don't know if did that answer your question?
Yeah. I'd like to take that a step further, that because we had relationships in the past, I would have dreams of previous girlfriends and sexual experiences, and I'd wake up in the morning and I would not want that in my head, right? I didn't want to be thinking about that all day. So knowing that she's not jealous, I'd say, honey, last night I had a dream about so-and-so, and I didn't like it. Would you pray for me? And instead of her getting mad at me, I can't believe you dreamed that, thinking like somehow I wanted to be with her, she said, let me pray with you. And she'd pray with me, and bringing it out in the open caused that not to be in my head anymore. So throughout our marriage, we've been able to share those things in our heart that sometimes couples don't share, and they just sit there and rot. And instead, I get it out. And then she felt comfortable. Well, yeah, last night I had a dream about this past boyfriend. Would you pray for me? And I'd pray for her, knowing that we trusted one another. And those dreams weren't my desire or her desire. It was just something from the past that came in, and I didn't want it, and she didn't want it, and so that builds more strength in us.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys. Another
another level
of just honesty and trust. Like where I wouldn't call it telling on yourself, but you're just being honest and open. Like that's a different level of you know what I mean. And you're expressing how you feel because you don't want to make the other partner mad. I can see where you know what I mean. But you felt and trusted her enough with your truth, and then
Vice versa.
I didn't want it in my head because if I didn't share that with her, pretty soon I'd think more and more about that relationship, and that's how the enemy weasels in through our minds, right? In 2 Corinthians 10:5, we're told to bring every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Mm-hmm. Well, the obedience of Christ is not me thinking about a relationship with another woman. It's about me being with my wife. And so I'm going to bring that thought to my wife. She's going to pray with me, and that takes care of it. It's no longer an issue in my head. Isn't that great?
And at first, we did it with intrepidation. You have to realize, at first, when we first did it, it was kind of scary, thinking, okay, how are we going to respond?
You have to accept that.
Right, how to accept it.
That's what I was going to ask.
Knowing that he loves me and I love him, we're going to work through this together. Because we know that, again, bringing it in the light, the enemy can't have a foothold in our relationship if we're bringing it to the light and praying for each other.
And then do you think without telling her that, do you think and then you keep having those, it's going to turn into action?
I believe it can.
Yeah.
My love for her, I think, is greater than that. I just don't want any area where there's a...
You don't even want to play with it.
Yeah.
No.
Now, I did make a mistake early on. We pastored in San Diego, and there was a gal there that, for whatever reason, I had those thoughts about, and I didn't want that, so I went to Julie and said, hey, here's this lady that I don't like these thoughts, and I just want to bring it out to you. Well, it bothered her, obviously, because it was someone in the church, and now she began to look at that person like, what does she have that I don't? And it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't that at all. But for me, I thought I should bring it to her. I also have an accountability partner that I've talked with since 1998. To this day, every Friday, we call and talk for an hour, and I share with him my thoughts even, and he'll pray with me. That was one thought I should have brought to him and not to my wife. Mm-hmm. Right.
So let's. This is great on this part because you got to understand the people that we interview here sometimes, you know, and I want to know on your end because the way you handled it, the way you dealt with it, first of all, how did you deal with that when he told you that?
From the person at the church?
No, from the person at the church.
Yeah.
When he told you that, what went through your mind and how did you handle it?
Well, at first I was disappointed, obviously, because I knew this person, and the other people were from the past. This is someone that was, and I was thinking, what does this person have that I don't have? But I had to also realize that our commitment was to each other. We had made a covenant before God, and I knew that was not going to be changed. And I knew that he was being open and honest, and I was trying to understand. And I tried. There were some levels of, wait, what's going on here? But as we talked over it and got through it, I realized it was just this, maybe a fascination. She was younger a little bit. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time since that happened.
But how did you handle it? Because you guys got through it.
Yes.
So I want to know how you handled it to get through it.
Well, it was just something that he talked about. It was never something that he pursued.
He
never pursued anything.
We understand.
Yeah.
Why for me, when I bring that out, now it's like she'd said earlier, it's in the light, and now it's not bothering me anymore. I shared with my wife, so it's out in the open.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how it would affect her. I didn't think about that. I was not sensitive about how that might affect Julie. I should have shared it with like my accountability partner, and then I would have had that same sense. It's out in the open.
Yeah.
Without affecting her. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is okay. You guys, I know he didn't do anything, but you guys got through that thought in your head,
right?
Because the people, what I'm saying is a lot of the people we bring on, I think they really need to hear this because that thought in your head, you guys handled it together,
right?
How did you handle that thought in your head together where you got over that?
Lots of communication, just talking it through. It was just something that we had to work through together. Yeah, I don't know that, I just said, you know what, I'd appreciate, that you would talk to your accountability partner if you have something like that. Those things from the past, it's different, but this is different because it's
Somebody gotta
right
see.
now. It's
You
someone
gotta
right now. I
see.
see that person. I don't want to know about that. And we're all human. I look at a good-looking guy and I think, oh, he's a good-looking guy or whatever. But I'm not going to say that to him. You know what I'm saying? Keep that to myself or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to act on that because I know that the grass is never greener on the other side. I'm just letting you know it is not.
We know that over here now.
Yeah, yeah.
We know that. But so that's a hard thing to get through is jealousy. That's like a big deal. I feel like that's going on with the world right now, and in a lot of relationships is jealousy.
That's the biggest thing with relationships. The breaking
it's-
up part.
Because they want to. A lot of people want to make that other person jealous. Do you guys see that in the world right now? A lot of people are trying to make their partner jealous so that they want them more, or whatever the case is, right? Well,
But that's not respectful, and it's not real love. It's just not real love.
This generation is different.
Yeah,
for sure.
right.
What would you say about that? Like, what would you say about them doing that? If someone was to just tell you that's what they do, what would you respond to them as?
I'd say you're making a mistake. That's not biblical. If you want a biblical marriage, let go of that stuff right now. Why would you even try to make somebody jealous? It's unique because within our church, and Julie and I talk to a lot of couples. We minister to a lot of couples. Jealousy is not an issue. So when you say this generation, or the people maybe that it might be, hear me out, it might be more, if people don't have a strong foundation in Christ, then they're going to work in the flesh, right? The natural man. And the natural man wants to please self. And if he's not getting pleased or she's not getting pleased, then making that person jealous might make them think that person will want them more.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a biblical foundation for any health. So why would I want that? Why would I, if I have a good marriage, why would I want her to be jealous? Right? That's silly.
And it's manipulation.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is. So besides that, obviously the Jesus Christ is the core of your guys' marriage. What makes you what do you do besides that on a daily basis with each other to keep your, because I know a lot of people that are married or in relationships and things like that. You guys' relationships, you can just tell it's strong. Mm-hmm. Just being around you can feel the strength in your guys' marriage. But what do you guys do to keep it so strong and because you guys keep saying communication?
Yeah.
So is that the main thing beyond that is keep communicating with each
I
other?
would definitely say we start every day in the Word. So we, you heard the old saying, the couple that prays together stays together. Well, we do that. We have been doing it for 31 years. We get up every morning, and I have to get up early because of my work, and he chooses to get up with me. So he doesn't have to be to work till 9 o'clock or 8:30, whatever, but he chooses to get up with me so that we have our time together. He could be sleeping in. He chooses not to. So we get up, we pray, we ask each other, how can I pray for you? We pray for each other, and then we pray for the needs that we know that the Lord has put on our heart, our congregation, our school. And then we have a devotion that we do together, and then we also read God's Word together. And we have a program that we've been doing for, 20-some years, and it's ASAP. No, I'm sorry. That's what I do with my classroom. Sorry. SOAP, SOAP. And it's just a journal reading where you read the Word and then you journal what you receive from the Lord. And then we, at times, if we have time, we share with each other what the Lord's spoken to us. And so over the years, we've had lots of communication that way. So I think that's huge, starting with that and asking the Lord how we can pray for each other. That's been a real blessing in our lives.
Yeah, that SOAP, SOAP, is what Scripture stood out. S, what's your observation? How will you apply it to your life? And what's your prayer from that? And so one verse in our reading that stands out to us that morning, we journal. So both of us I've got stacks of journals from over the years going through the Bible. We started in 2000, and so here it's been 24 years of every year journaling. Now there may be some years we'll miss a couple days here, a couple days there, a week here, maybe we're on vacation and we're not that's okay. We'll get back to it the next year. But you know what I'm saying? We just keep that. That's a ritual that we have that strengthens our relationship from the get-go. First thing in the morning, we start out that way. And then in the evening, we'll ask, how'd your day go? And I want to listen to her, and she'll listen to me. Yeah. I don't come home and sit down and, okay, honey, where's my dinner, right? We both work. We both shop together. We cook together. If she's home later, I'll have meal ready. If I'm home later, she'll have meal ready. We're not...
we work together.
Yeah.
We do everything together.
We don't say, why didn't you do that? And we're a unit, right? We're one.
Yeah.
And so why would I get upset if I know she's got something she's doing at work or she's got a meeting with someone and I get home early? I know what we're going to make. We love to cook. We cook together or we cook individually. So like tonight we had chicken noodle soup, and I started it this morning, and this afternoon we put it together and had chicken noodle soup, and here we came. So it's just a relationship.
It's a team.
Yeah.
It's a team. Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah. And I want to go back to our devotion time in the morning. We're both reading the same scripture, but what the Lord speaks to us is different. Yeah. So it's fun to hear, oh, what did you get? Or what did I get? So it's a really good conversation starter, is because we're talking about what the Lord spoke to our hearts. So that's very cool.
Oh, I like that.
So,
Oh, no, go ahead.
So, do you think, because I remember how you were saying earlier, how you were raised played a big part in how, when you grew up, felt. So do you think nowadays some of the relationships aren't working because of how people were brought up? Or certainly are them seeing how their mother was treated, or them being single parents? Do you think that plays a role in it too nowadays?
Oh, I definitely think that. I think, though, that people need to overcome the things that they've gone through. I mean, we can blame our past. Say, well, I act this way because of my past, or I act this way, but there's got to be a point where you say, I got to take ownership, and I got to move forward from that. And I know a lot of people have had some heavy things that they've had to deal with, and I'm not saying that they don't. They have a lot, and again, trusting God and helping them to get through those situations. I can imagine some of the horrible things people are having to go through, and I'm so sorry for your pain. But I do know that the Lord can get you through whatever pain you've gone through. And so I would just really ask you that you would trust the Lord, because He wants to help you.
Yeah. My family, my mom and dad, they were religious, but they weren't in a relationship like Julie and I. I didn't have this modeled.
Yeah, neither did I. Right.
Yeah, we didn't have it modeled. We just realized we knew what we wanted. We wanted a healthy marriage. So we started and did something that the generation before us in both our families didn't do.
Almost like breaking the curse type thing.
Yeah. And so we made a choice. We raised our kids differently than I was raised and she was raised. So we didn't have a model for that, but we decided to do it together. So we made a decision that everything we did, we would do together. We would say the same thing. So our son couldn't come to me and say, oh, I want to do this. And I'd say, no, I'll go get mom and she'll change. What did dad say? Like we were a team all the way through. So our kids, they got modeled to them.
They couldn't play us.
Yeah, something that we didn't have modeled in previous. So don't think that, oh yeah, because I had this model, now I'm just living out what my mom and dad did. No, it's something completely different. But we just knew that for us to have a healthy marriage, we've got to do this together, right? And we've got to go. There have been times that God would speak to me or to Julie in regards to our kids, like, hey, they're doing this. And sure enough, we talked to them. How'd you know? One time Garrett said to his friends, man, I can't get away with anything. God talks to my dad. And the same thing with Julie, you know. We both, because we spent time in prayer, and God would speak to us about our kids, and we'd bring it up.
Let's see. Yeah.
So I know we went over some of this stuff, but I think it'd be good for our viewers to hear. I want to ask both of you different questions, but on this same thing, is what do you believe, Pastor Dennis, a true, strong husband is?
A true, strong husband. Well, someone who's humble, right? Someone who's not prideful. Someone who admits his faults and works through them. I can't tell you how many times I've had to ask Julie to forgive me for just maybe a way that I might have responded. We don't yell, but I might have responded in a way that came across what I would feel disrespectful. Someone else would say, that's nothing. But I know what's in my heart. And so I've got to bring that stuff to the forefront immediately. And the same thing with our kids. Humility makes all the difference in the world. I can't tell you how many times I've asked my kids to forgive me for something I might have said harshly to them or expected more of them than they should have had. So a good husband, a good dad is someone who, I don't mean to say this in this Christianese, but
Go ahead, say it all the way you want.
Yeah.
How
God-fearing, God-honoring, walks in the spirit, not in the flesh, and admits when they're in the flesh. When I say in the flesh, the natural man, me, apart from listening to God, right? I can do a lot of stuff in my own strength, and I can try to, do the right thing, but I'm so thankful that the Holy Spirit knows exactly what I need to do. And if I'm doing something wrong, he checks me. And now I have to make the choice to listen to him. One of my prayers is, God, speak to me clearly that I could obey you quickly. Right? So I want to honor God. When he speaks, I want to obey. And I don't do that 100% of the times. None of us do. So don't think I'm saying I'm perfect. I'm not, and that's why humility is such a big deal for me. As soon as you say you're humble, you're prideful. So, you know what I'm saying. So I want to be mindful of that. That it takes honesty, integrity. We have a core value in our home. Core values that we share with our kids, and it's part of our church core value because we are who we are at home, that we are at church, that we are at work. Our core values are integrity, faithfulness, excellence, respect, and courage, right? The top one, integrity, right? If I am not a man of integrity, I'm not a man, right? I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good dad. My daughter called me one time on integrity because she knows that's our core value. And there was something I was going to do that just a little not. And she said, Dad, what about our core value, integrity?
So you guys have that in your family that talked about.
Oh yeah, we have it on a plaque at our house.
Plaque at our house,
Wow.
and it's at our church. Part of our who we are as a congregation. Because again, I am who I am at home, at church, and wherever. I want to be that same guy.
So you're disciplined in what you say you are and what to do. You guys just keep yourself disciplined in that.
Yeah, I disciplined. We allow the Holy Spirit to check us, to remind us, right?
We're not perfect.
Yeah.
In
And that's
any way.
why we have to ask forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's why my daughter can call me. I love the fact that my daughter could call me on something that she said, Dad, that's not integrous. I said, you're right. I didn't get mad. Wow, you're right. Thank you for bringing that up. Forgive me. Right?
Accountability. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Acceptance.
I love
And
it.
acceptance. Yeah.
It's really hard for a lot of men to do that too because they have a lot of pride in them. And I really believe that a real man will they messed up. They'll just say it like it is what it is. That it's just the truth's easier at the end of the day to deal with.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I was a good liar as a young person, so much so that I could have people believe a variety of things. But once those people got in a group and I told one person one thing, another person another, all of a sudden I had to remember, which lie did I tell this person, right? And I remember that as I grew up and became a Christian, I said, I don't want that thing in my life anymore because I'd forget who I lied to about something, and pretty soon I'd say this. Well, no, that's not what you told me. Oh, that's not what you told me. Oh, my lies caught up with me. So that's why I think God has put integrity in my heart, so that now I don't have to worry about what I tell anybody because I tell the truth.
We were just talking about that today.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because
Literally.
we literally were just talking about that because, I mean, in the past, men that are dating and doing their thing, they lie a lot. You know, I admit on this stuff a lot what I do. I don't even care anymore. I lied. I lied to women. I was when I was doing dirt and all this stuff, but I don't lie anymore. And it's so like refreshing to not have any hidden secrets, to lie. It's so refreshing to just tell the truth. It feels good. Actually, because you don't have to hide anything anymore. Everything. I've been like this for like a few years now, and I'm loving it. But I do want to get back to you too, Julie. So, what do you believe a true like good wife is to their husband and a mother to their children?
Well, one thing that Dennis and I think all men love to hear is that they're respected. That is a huge thing for him. Here was something when we were dating. He gave me some flowers, and he said, I give you these flowers not to elicit a kiss, because the next person I kiss will be the person I'm going to marry. And he says, what do you think about that? And I said, well, that's a little different.
So you're romantic over here.
Yeah,
huh, Pastor
yeah,
Dan?
you know
now
it.
we're starting to see that. All right, okay.
It was a notebook before the notebook.
There you go.
He knew what he was
That's
This is a
right.
real notebook
That's
right
right.
here.
So I said, well, that's different, but I respect that. And when he realized that I respected that, even though that was not something that I was thinking I was going to be doing, it was great. It was wonderful. And then that's where all that communication came in. And so respect is a huge thing for him and for me. So I want to respect him. As far as being, I want to be supportive of him as a pastor's wife. I know that there's a lot of things that happen within the church, and he needs to have me as a good listening ear. He doesn't need me to tell him what to do. He just needs me to listen. And so I'm a good listener, and so I want to be that way for him. And I think that we just like to have fun together. You know, we like to go to national parks, and so we are going to every national park that we can. We're going to 5 this summer, and that's just something we like to do. We love to travel. He loves to ride his bicycle. So being together and doing the things that we love to do to just enjoy life together, because it's fun. Life is fun. I remember our first year of marriage, I said to him, man, I'm glad I like you. Because we spent a lot of time together, you know, and so that was just fun. So that we like to just be together. But as far as being a mom and co-parenting together, obviously, being on the same page was huge for us. And I homeschooled our kids for a while, and that was it was a struggle. It's a lot of work to homeschool your kids, but having his support, knowing that he was supporting me in that. But I think the main thing about parenting is, again, being on that same page. We would have something where is everything okay?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Just keep going.
We would have something where the kids would come and they would try to play us or whatever. And if he was disciplining the kids and I didn't agree with his discipline, I would come over to him and I'd put my hand on his arm so that he would know that I was not exactly agreeing with what he was saying. And so he would stop and let me kind of take over the discipline. And so then we would tag team each other like that. And we knew that because we respected each other, we knew that each other was going to support each other in the way we were disciplining. Because sometimes he would get heated or I would get heated, and we would know that we would need to calm down. Because parenting is difficult.
Yeah, I was just checking the chat to see if anybody was in the chat asking questions. But yeah, we got people talking. But yeah, I just wanted to. I love that. I love that you guys are saying that, because I feel like people get away from the fun part. It's always so intense, and they don't talk about having fun together.
Yeah,
'cause that's really what it's about. If you're in a relationship, what's the point of arguing and fighting all the time? It's have fun. Yeah. You know, you guys have fun together. And at the very beginning, you guys were talking about being friends first. So do you think that that's a better way to start a relationship as friends?
Absolutely.
And then just jumping into a relationship, meeting them somewhere, and just boom, jumping into a relationship.
Well, we both had done it that way, the other way, and that didn't work. And so we wanted to do it this way, and we both had that desire to be friends first. And like I said, sex is easy, but this communication is difficult. So once you get that down, and we had talked a lot, and we would really encourage anybody that's going to get married to do pre-married counseling, because that time with that person that's helping you through those difficulties, you have to take a license you have to take a test to get your license. But why wouldn't you, for this lifetime commitment, not go through some counseling before to really discuss things? And we had great pre-marriage counselors, and that was really a blessing. We still use some of the techniques today that they talk to us about.
So do you guys counsel marriage?
Yes.
Marriage couple?
Yeah,
so
we love doing premarital counseling.
What's like the biggest issue that you guys get listening to other one of the main things, or something that's always brought up?
I think a lot of it has to do with respect for one another, honoring one another. When we do premarital counseling, we let people know that we're not here to say you guys are for sure getting married. We're going through this to help you see if this is really what's supposed to happen. We've had over the years probably 2-3 couples stop and say we're not going to get married, and we're thankful.
Yeah.
Right? We're thankful because I'd rather them realize, hey, this is real, guys. This is not just, I want to get in bed with this guy or this gal, or I want to play house. This is life, right? And so we really want to help people. Sometimes people don't understand that when you're married, the finances are no longer, you're not like, these are mine and that's yours. We're together. Everything's got to be together. We're a team. We're united. So how can we help you realize that this is something, if you're going to be forever, then you've got to start out on the right foot. Right? You got to know how to deal with conflict resolution, right? How to share your expectations. And that's a big one. That's probably the biggest thing is expectations. And we do a whole thing on great expectations. The man might have expectations in his mind about what marriage is going to be like, and the women have hers, but they don't talk about it. Yeah. And when we get going, all of a sudden they realize, oh, I didn't know that. Well, gosh, guys, aren't you glad you're in this class?
Yeah.
Right? Aren't you glad that you're getting to know one another and your expectations, which are fine that your expectations are different, but can you get together and say, we can make these expectations work? Or is the fiance's expectations so different than the other that, well, we can't do this? Well, good. I'm glad you found out now. Then instead, and a lot of times people get into their marriage, both of them having different expectations. They get married and they realize, oh my gosh, you're not the person I thought you were, because you never talked about it. It was easy to kiss and hug and be on the couch, watch a movie, right? Oh yeah, we know each other real well. They like this movie and I like that movie. They like this band, I like that band. Yeah. Right? We like the same music, we like the same movies. Let's get married. Oh, give me a break.
Well,
it sounds legit though. You know what I mean? It's almost like everybody thinks that way, and it's like what it is. And it's like it doesn't work out at the end of the day.
Yeah. I like your body, you like mine, but you don't know that in 30 years your body changes. Yeah. Right? Are you going to love the person, or do you love that outward appearance? And she's beautiful inside and out, right? And I'm blessed. I'm a blessed man. But some people don't want to grow. They stay back where they're originally married. And what happened? You changed. Yeah, years change people. And it's okay. Physically, it's if you know them personally, you have a relationship with them, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I like that, and I feel like I know what you're going to say already, but because the segment is called Power Couple, so I do want to say, what would you say? Because we're having so many different people in here, but I do want you guys to say what you guys think, your minds, and we can go individually too. What a power couple is to you.
I don't know that I consider us a power couple, right? I consider us a couple that is in love, that we have a good, strong, healthy marriage, and Jesus is at the center. So if you ask what's a power couple, I think having the power source is Jesus, right? If Jesus isn't the power source, I got no power, right? Because I can be selfish, I can be prideful, I want this now, but with Jesus in me, I'm not that way, right? I can be a real jerk without Jesus, but with Jesus, that's where the power comes in. So if Jesus is left out of the equation, I'm sorry, there's no power couple. Yeah, in my mind.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
One thing that we learned in our pre-marriage was that our relationship should be 100%, 100%. So I don't give 50% and he gives 50%, but I give 100% and he gives 100%. And then you're both giving your all. So I think that's really been a key to our relationship. And if you're going to call us a power couple, that would be it. Giving 100%, 100%. Always trying to
Outdo one another.
That's right. Outdo each other. Yeah, exactly. So, and then I wanted to go back a little bit, if you don't mind just saying this.
Yeah.
We did a book called Love Languages, and there's 5 love languages, and they're, help me.
So it has to do with acts of service, gifts, giving gifts, words of affirmation. Let's see, those are the 3 time spent together.
And touch. Physical touch,
Yeah.
right. So I think as a couple, I think it's really important to find out what each other's love language is, because then you know how to love the way they need to be loved, okay? And so I think that's an important thing. I'm not always great at his love language, but I'm constantly trying, knowing that he loves to be respected and touch. Okay,
Words of affirmation and touch.
Right. So, just touching him like this that encourages him. That encourages him.
I seen it earlier when we started. The first thing before you said we're going live, the first thing she did, she grabbed his hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
So that
real.
means
It's
something
real.
to you.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I show love by acts of service because I'm a Mr. Fix-It, and she appreciates that, but that's not her love language. Her love language is time spent together and gifts, and a gift can be a chocolate on the pillow, a card. At times, I'll take. I've got the key to her car. I know where she works. I can go in, drop a card there, so when she comes out, there's a card with just sweet things, right? And that just sends her to the moon.
It's a blessing.
So I know her love language, and I'm going to do that for her. I'm going to get those little gifts. I'm going to spend time with her, and vice versa.
So it's important to put that work in. I mean, if you're putting work at work, your business, everywhere, so you really think that it's important to even put that kind of work in and that time in on your wife or your husband.
Absolutely.
And that's year in, year out. It's not, hey, I told you I love you when we got married. Nothing's changed. Why do I need to tell you again? I tell her I love her all the time because I do. I rarely call her Julie. It's either sweetheart, babe, just because she's my sweetheart. And so we've been married 31 years, and she's still my sweetheart. There's something I used to write on a card, and I wrote it recently. I love you more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow.
Which is a song, right?
Yeah, it's a song from the 60s.
But being together that long, how do you guys keep it that way? Because, I mean, you could tell, like, off the bat it's not a show. I mean, you guys come in here, I see how you put your hand on him. It's like you guys almost prepare yourself for things together. Mm-hmm. So can you guys go to war together with, whatever you guys are doing in business, you guys have each other's back completely, constantly, all the time? Like, is that...
Yes.
Absolutely.
I know that if I have a hard day at work, I can come home and be comforted by her. She knows she has a hard day at work. She can come home and be comforted by me. I'm not going to say, man, put your chin up. Stop acting that way. No, that's not going to help her. I'm going to encourage her. I'm going to lift her up, and vice versa. We have each other's back. I love spending time with her. Sometimes I'm more of a recluse. Like I could just be a Mr. Homebody. I ride my bike by myself, right? I get charged up with just my own time. She gets charged up with people. So she helps me be more outgoing and open, and I help her to have more just like alone time. I don't know. We work together that way.
Go watch him. We'll be at a party or something, and I can just see it on his face that he's like done. You know, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go.
You know him just so well, huh?
Yeah.
So is it better off for couples to hang around other couples or couples that are into God to hang around the people that are doing the same thing you're doing versus in hanging around people that are, say, like not on the path that you're on? Will that infect your relationship as far as other couples that are doing that?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't infect us. We're
not you guys, but
yeah,
I'm talking about for
we're-
other couples, like for.
Yeah, we have people that we'll have over to the house to get to know them and spend time with them, and hopefully even affect them in their relationship. Find out if there's things that we can speak into their life. But then we do have couples that we do things with that are like on the same page as us.
Yeah.
And that's good. Yeah.
So you guys do got to surround yourselves. Do you guys feel like you need to surround yourselves with people like that too, or you think it's just
We
helps
want to.
benefit?
Yeah.
Okay,
We want to.
that's good.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because I mean, other people that have strife in their relationship and they see it constantly, it can affect like at least your mood around each other or something like that. With that, I mean,
Well, we'll speak into that when we see that in couples, and we've done that. When we see that in couples, we'll take them to the side and say, "Hey, and I notice that you kind of speak disrespectfully to your wife. Can I help you with that?" You know, they're either going to say yes or no, and they see Julie and I, and people have said, "I want what you've got." Okay,
Yeah.
it takes work. This is 31 years, starting from the beginning, and that's the hard part when we go into counseling with people, because a lot of times in marriage counseling, when I call it counseling, we're not marriage counselors, but we love to share with people how
Our
to
story.
build a strong marriage and restore their marriage. We didn't have that. Like I said, from the time we were engaged, we made choices and decisions that affected the trajectory of our marriage to where it is now. You know, we're not a yelly, screaming couple. We don't do that. That's not right. We don't cuss at one another. There was one time.
Who did it?
A year. Now, I don't think it was just the first year where we were learning our boundaries, because she was the principal. She became the principal of the school where I was a youth pastor at the church. And so she had things she was responsible for, and I, as youth pastor, had things, and so I was in my youth pastor role, but she had a principal school role that I neglected. I went over, and I shouldn't have. And we're driving home, what the shit was that? Something like that.
It didn't even sound like it didn't sound right coming out of his mouth.
But that's what she said to me, and then I said, well, what the hell? Or something like that. So that was, over all these years, we look at that. That was the biggest tiff that we had. It's weird saying tiff because
man, I would love that.
Yeah, but it's because.
But also, you have to
That's
know
how it grew,
too.
too.
We did not go to sleep that night until we discussed it. That's
Yes.
another huge
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Do not let the sun go down on your anger. And so, that night I was so angry with him. I mean, I went in the other room and I changed. I wasn't going to
Didn't even
near.
change in front of me. What's
Yeah.
up with that?
And so anyway, he stood up. He was not going to bed until we discussed this, and we discussed it. I still had some anger in the morning. We had to discuss it some more, and he apologized, and we got it all worked out. But it was definitely something that we needed to work through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's how I grew up. 'Cause my dad's a pastor, and when my dad and mom got together, my mom was she was a Jehovah's Witness at first. So they got together. She ended up becoming Christian or whatever. But I've never seen them argue. I've seen them like disagreements.
Yeah.
yeah,
I've never seen them argue,
Right.
ever. And I try to keep that. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit more different than my dad, but you know what I mean. I try some of the stuff that when he was telling me when I was younger, it results in me now. I'm like, okay, that's what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
So with this, I feel so weird doing it with you guys because I just know you guys and I look at you guys like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But this is our first legitimate power couple segment. But we've done two before that. We didn't call them that, and it kind of went to this. But since we're the hour's pretty much over, what we do is we have the man look at his woman and tell the woman what he thinks about her and how he feels about her. And we have vice versa, looking into each other's eyes.
I love that.
So would you guys be willing to do
course.
that?
Gosh, yes. Woohoo! We used to do something called knee
Knee
to
to knee. That's right.
Yeah, and we would.
So a knee to knee is when you're kind of having a difficult time and you're arguing with each other, and so the one person is quiet while the other person is just talking, and this person has to just listen and not say a word.
See, I'm gonna probably call it this from now on, knee to knee.
Right. A new segment. Our new segment. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I am so blessed. Julie, you are incredible. You're like the perfect woman for me. There's no one else. I've told you this before. I can't imagine not being married to anyone else. You are like my perfect fit. You're my princess. You're my queen. You're the love of my life. And I am so thankful to be on this journey with you. You make life easy. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you. You are the best.
Thank you. I love you so very much, and I'm so thankful that I've been with you for 31 years and plus. I'm glad that we made a covenant before God together, and I'm so thankful that you love me in spite of who I am. Thank you for encouraging me and loving me for all these years, and I enjoy and love being with you. Thank you for being my support, my spiritual leader. Thank you for always having my back and loving me the way that I need to be loved. And thank you for loving me. I love you so very much.
Clap on that one.
That was killer, man. Hey, you felt that though, huh?
Right.
I was like, whoa, why do I?
You was crying at first.
No,
I
was like, whoa, because I've had people do that before.
Right.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you was
don't
crying,
cry.
sorry.
But no, I was like, whoa, because we've had people do that before, and I'm just like watching, But I was like, whoa, I was feeling that. That's crazy.
That's something you only hear in movies. I mean,
Yeah, that was wild. You guys did that so easy
experienced
too. It was not awkward for you guys. You know what I mean?
Right. It came out smooth. It was no or but. That came out smooth. That's real.
How important do you think that is to do for couples to do for each other? Like to
knee to knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, the knee to knee was
not
right, that. But to share that, I think
Yeah.
it's really important that you need to do it all the time, because people need to know he needs to know how much I love him. He needs to know that I'm here to support him. And again, it's not something you just do every once in a while. But and I think because our actions speak louder than words, that he already knows it, but it's also good to hear it.
One more thing too, to touch on that. We had men panels in here, and I'd love to get you on one of those too, and a women panel, and get you on one. That'd be great, actually, because there's some trippy things that people come on in here. But what I wanted to say is a lot of men don't get told stuff like this. They don't. They come on here, they talk about suicide, they talk about all kinds of stuff, because they really feel like nobody cares about them. So to have somebody tell you that kind of stuff, I know it has to feel different. Yeah. It has to bring, at least to keep you a little bit of fire. I know it's different in the word. I understand that. I understand, but I do think men do need to be told something positive
Words of
about
affirmation.
themselves. Because a lot of men just don't get told anything positive. It's always something else.
Words
the
of
opposite.
affirmation that really helped build me up. And she's good at speaking life into me. And so I don't feel like I'm a failure. Even when I think I'm failing, she's there to encourage me, so I don't have a chance to even
I felt good just hearing it. It wasn't even told to me. I felt good. You know what I mean?
He's like, I'm going to go out my life right now.
Right.
But we appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
We always say "shed the sheep." All the guests. That's our slogan. I don't know if you guys can leave the camera. and say,
Absolutely. Tell us when.
Shed the sheep.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Right here.
Shed the sheep.
So I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check out their church. It's in Redlands.
Yeah,
You guys
New
wanna
Life
give a little shout
Redlands
out?
Church. Yeah, 1330 East Lagonia. We have an 8:30 in the morning service on Sunday, and then a 10:30. And in between that 10 to 10:30, we have refreshment and fellowship for those people, so they can get to meet one another. It's a blast. We have so much fun.
We appreciate you guys coming on. I really
you.
appreciate you guys
Thank you.
coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
How's over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
Shed the sheep. We're out.